Namaskar. Good evening. On behalf of SV Phatak Library Committee, I, Sheila Barpande, welcome you all in the centenary year of the library for the book launch ceremony in this P.L. Deshpande Hall of Lokmanya Seva Sangha. On the first entrance of the hall, you must have noticed a quote by P.L. Deshpande is written, ह्या सभागृहामध्ये काव्यशास्त्र विनोदात धीमतांचा काल सदैव आनंदात जावो. Today's function is in accordance with this quote. We, the members of recently formed new committee, consider ourselves fortunate enough to conduct the first program of a book launch, as the motto of our library is to spread reading culture. Even the last program of the previous committee was a book launch, a book written by Dr. Pandit Shashanka Katti, a well-known sitarist. Our library is a work of wonder and modesty. Wonder as it houses a rich collection of more than 85,000 books, including Marathi, English, Sanskrit books, with some rare reference books also. This wealth of various books contains from classical to contemporary fictions, poetry, drama, biographies, and also books for children. At present, there are more than 400 children members who indicate the fact that children do love reading. Friendly, approachable, and cooperative staff is the asset of our library. Full AC, open access system, Tuesday to Saturday full day open are the facilities provided by our library, and that is why our A-class library was awarded Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar Best Library title in the year 1998. Every month we offer a platform to the book lovers to express themselves about the book they like in Lokmanya Vachak Katta. Sometimes authors of books are invited to meet the readers. In a nutshell, SV Phatak Library is really a treasure of Vile Parle. Now I request Dr. Vivek Bhatt, the president of our committee, to invite the guests of today's functions on the stage. Author Dr. Anjali Bhatawdekar, Dr. Rajendra Badwe, and Amol Gupte. Now I request Dr. Bhatt to honor our guest. First of all, today's chief guest, eminent cancer surgeon who received the highest third Padma Award in India, Padma Shri. I request Dr. Bhatt to offer Shan and Shrifal as an honor to Dr. Rajendra Badwe, and also a fruit basket as a token of our love and respect. Our next guest of honor is renowned actor and filmmaker Mr. Amol Gupte. I request Dr. Bhatt to give a fruit basket to him. I also request Dr. Bhatt to give a fruit basket to the author Dr. Anjali Bhatawdekar. Thank you, Dr. Bhatt. Dr. Bhatawdekar couple has close association with Lokmanya Seva Sangha. Dr. Manoj Bhatawdekar, who is convener of today's program, has given his services to Balak Palak Kendra as a counselor for many years. Dr. Anjali is a consulting pediatrician, also guides at Juvenile Diabetes Foundation. She has already written a book in Marathi, Sangopan, and has participated various programs on child health on All India Radio and Doordarshan and various TV channels. Now I hand over the mic to Dr. Manoj Bhatawdekar to proceed further. Please note that the program will end with national anthem. Thank you.
Dignitaries on the dais and my dear friends, a very good evening to all of you. It's a wonderful August gathering in the month of July, and I see senior people, I see our teachers from school, teachers from our medical colleges, friends, colleagues, relatives. It's an overwhelming feeling for Anjali and me to welcome you all. At the outset, allow me to thank all of you for being here. And I'm sure it's going to be a wonderful book launch function. Why am I here? Reason number one is I'm a book lover. The second reason, I think most of you know, but maybe somebody who doesn't know, the author Dr. Anjali Bhatawdekar seems to be, not seems to be, she is my better half, and which means I am her worse half. On one hand, it makes it very easy for me to conduct this program because I know the author very well, I know everything about her, I know everything about the book. On the other hand, it makes it very difficult because it's difficult to be objective about your own life. But let me promise you, I'll do my best to be as objective, as unbiased as I can, and strike a balance between being objective and subjective. Coming to the book, this book in its seed form was conceived during the lockdown, and she started writing blogs, she started writing articles during the lockdown period. I have read a quote by Agatha Christie, and I know Agatha Christie is her favorite author, the famous novelist. She writes that the best time to plan a book is while doing the dishes. Now, I don't know whether she conceived this idea during the lockdown while doing the dishes, because everybody was doing dishes during the lockdown. However, the first time I realized that she was doing something like this was a very shocking incident for me. I was in the bedroom, and I suddenly hear, it was morning time around 8 o'clock, and suddenly hear her talking to herself. And there was nobody else at home, just the two of us, and I said, who is she talking to? And muttering to self is a symptom in psychiatry. You know, I'm a psychiatrist. So I started wondering as to what it is all about, and then I peeped in, and then slowly I had and then she, don't disturb. I said, who are you talking to? Then there was her phone in front of her. I am dictating into the phone. That's how she started writing her articles. Speech to text, and I love her phone because I am spared of the dictation. She started writing the blog every single day and started receiving a very positive feedback from her readers. She almost kind of developed a fan club of her readers, and today we see the writing culminating into the form of a book, and many people have told us, please write a book. And I'm really glad that there are so many people who love books who are here, so many people who love us are here, and it's really an overwhelming feeling for all of us. Coming to the publications, Book Ganga. This book is being published by Book Ganga, which is a very, very prestigious publication house. And I'll tell you a little bit about the publication house. Mandar Zogalekar and Gauri Zogalekar have been living in the USA, and Mandar Zogalekar started Book Ganga publications with a sense of social commitment, with a view to spread Marathi literature across the world. Book Ganga is all about quantity and quality, both. So I'll give you some figures. I'm reading it out so that I don't want to make a mistake about it. It's a dedicated team of 60 people operating from Sakharpa, Ratnagiri, Pune, Kolhapur, and the USA. Book Ganga has reached more than 10 lakh customers. Just listen to the numbers. It has reached more than 10 lakh customers from 60 countries, distributing 3 lakh printed copies, 20,000 e-books, and 200 audio books of 40,000 writers and 5,000 publishers. Book Ganga has published about 200 books in the past 4 to 5 years, and it continues the legacy of the renowned bookstore International Book Service from Deccan Gymkhana, Pune, which was operating since 1931. It's truly socially committed publishing house. My Vishwa Technologies by Mandar Zogalekar is a leading software development company in the field of artificial intelligence. And today we have the pleasure of having with us Mrs. Gauri Zogalekar from Book Ganga. We would like to hear from you, madam, your association with Dr. Anjali Bhatawdekar and your association with the book, and more about the book. So, Gauri Zogalekar.
नमस्कार. मी मराठीतून बोलणार आहे. आपलं पुस्तक इंग्लिशमधलं आहे, पण पुण्याची आहे, त्यामुळे मराठीतनं बोललं पाहिजे असं मला वाटतं. आम्ही बुकगंगाची सुरुवात 2010 साली केली. त्याच्या आधी माननीय व्यासपीठ आणि इथे बसलेले सर्वजण यांचं बुकगंगातर्फे मी हार्दिक स्वागत करते. आम्ही बुकगंगाची सुरुवात 2010 मध्ये केली. सुरुवातीला भारताच्या बाहेर प्रिंट पुस्तकं सहजी उपलब्ध होत नव्हती शिपिंग चार्जेसमुळे. तर आम्ही ईबुकनी सुरुवात केली आणि मग नंतर लक्षात आलं की भारतातच पुण्या मुंबईसारखं शहर सोडली तर प्रिंट पुस्तकं देखील आपल्याला सहजी मिळत नाही आहेत. आणि म्हणून मग आम्ही bookganga.com ची स्थापना केली आणि त्याच्यावरनं मग आम्ही सर्व प्रकाशकांची सर्व पुस्तकं घरपोच उपलब्ध अशी सुरुवात केली. त्यासाठी आम्ही मंदार जोगळेकरांचं मूळ गाव आहे साखरपा, रत्नागिरीजवळचं. तर तिथे आम्ही मुलींना ट्रेनिंग दिलं आणि सर्व ईबुकची टेक्नॉलॉजी त्यांना शिकवून त्या मुली आता तिकडनं सर्व ईबुक्स बनवतात. तसंच आपल्याला ज्या जगभरातून बुकच्या ऑर्डर्स येतात त्याचं सर्व काम म्हणजे मला हे सांगताना फार अभिमान वाटतो की जगभरातील ऑर्डर्स अर्थात सगळं इंग्लिशमधनं असतं, कधी मराठीतनं असतात, त्या रत्नागिरीतल्या मुली हँडल करतात आणि आपण ही जी सगळी पुस्तकं पोचवतो ती त्या मुलींच्या मार्फत पोचवली जातात. थँक्यू. काही वर्षांपूर्वी आम्ही, तुम्हाला सगळ्यांना माहीत असेल, पूर्वीचं इंटरनॅशनल बुक सर्व्हिस ते आम्ही बुकगंगा इंटरनॅशनल बुक सर्व्हिस म्हणून चालू केलं आणि तिथेही खूप उत्तम प्रतिसाद आम्हाला मिळायला लागला. आज मी जेव्हा पुण्यातून येत होते तेव्हा माझ्या अशा लक्षात आलं की हे जे आज पुस्तक प्रकाशित होतं आहे, द लाईट विदिन, ते 3 टीजवरती बेतलेलं आहे. पहिलं म्हणजे अर्थातच टेक्नॉलॉजी, कारण आपण सगळेच जण आजकाल टेक्नॉलॉजीचा वापर करूनच हे सगळं करू शकतो आहे. दुसरं म्हणजे टीमवर्क. ते कसं की आमच्या अंजलीताई ज्या आजच्या लेखिका आहेत त्या मुंबईच्या आहेत. प्रिंट पुस्तक हे पुण्यात तयार झालं. त्यांचा मुलगा जो दुबईमध्ये राहतो त्यांनी त्याचं सुंदर कव्हरचं डिझाईन आम्हाला करून पाठवलं. त्याचं ईबुक साखरप्यातल्या मुलींनी तयार केलं आहे. आज त्याचं मार्केटिंग रत्नागिरीतली लोकं, कोल्हापूरमधली लोकं करणार आहेत. जगभर हे पुस्तक जाईल ईबुक आणि प्रिंट स्वरूपात आणि आज त्याचं प्रकाशन मुंबईमध्ये होतं आहे. तर मला असं वाटतं की हे फक्त आणि फक्त टीमवर्कमुळेच साध्य होऊ शकलं. त्यामुळे टेक्नॉलॉजी, टीमवर्क आणि तिसरं ट्रान्सपरन्सी. आणि हे मी केवळ अंजलीताईंच्या स्वभावाकडे बघून म्हणते आहे. आज इथे खूप प्रसिद्ध डॉक्टर ऑडियन्समध्ये पण आणि आपले पाहुणे पण आहेत, त्यामुळे मला डॉक्टर हा शब्द खूप काळजीपूर्वक वापरायचा आहे. तर अंजलीताई डॉक्टर आहेत, पण त्या स्पिरिच्युअली पण खूप इव्हॉल्व्ड आहेत. आणि आम्ही काम करत असताना हे सर्व कुठलेही टॅग्स कधीही मध्ये आले नाहीत. आणि तुम्हाला हे पुस्तक वाचून लक्षात येईलच की हे पुस्तक जरी खूप फिलॉसॉफर्सवरती बेस्ड असलं तरी देखील त्यांनी आपल्या रोजच्या जीवनातले सगळे जे काही आपले घडत असतात इन्सिडन्सेस त्याच्यावरती बेस्ड हे आहे. त्यामुळे हे खूप सहज सोपं पुस्तक वाटतं आणि जरी इंग्लिशमध्ये असलं तरी देखील हे कुणालाही खूप सोपं वाटू शकतं वाचायला. आणि तोच अनुभव आम्हाला काम करताना आला. त्या खूप पॉझिटिव्ह आहेत, त्यांच्यात प्रचंड ऊर्जा आहे. आणि आम्हाला आमचा फोन सुरू व्हायचा अर्थातच फॉर्मल पुस्तकावरनं, आणि तो आमचा फोन कधी गप्पांकडे जायचा अर्थातच त्यांच्याकडे खूप ज्ञान आहे. आणि आम्हाला त्यांची पॉझिटिव्हिटी मिळाली आणि त्यामुळेच हे काम आमच्याकडनं घडू शकलं. त्यामुळे ट्रान्सपरन्सी हा आमच्यातला सर्वात मोठा दुवा होता आणि बुकगंगाचं भाग्य आहे की आम्हाला त्यांच्याबरोबर काम करता आलं. खरं म्हणजे मला माझ्या भाषणात सांगायचं होतं की आज पुस्तक सवलतीच्या दरामध्ये बाहेर उपलब्ध आहे, पण फॉर्च्युनेटली सगळं सोल्ड आऊट आहे. त्यामुळे मला ते सांगता येणार नाही, बट वी आर हॅपी विथ दॅट. आणि सर्वात शेवटचं म्हणजे पुस्तकाच्या कंटेंटबद्दल आपण ऐकणारच आहोत, पण तुमच्या सगळ्यांच्याकडे पुस्तक आहे तर तुमच्या लक्षात येईल की आपण जो नेहमी पेपर वापरतो पुस्तकांना ट्रॅडिशनली, तो पांढरा पेपर असतो आणि त्याच्यावरती काळी शाई असते युजली. तर आपण जो हा पेपर वापरला आहे याचं नाव आहे स्टोरा पेपर. तर हा थोडासा क्रीमिश शेडचा असा असतो आणि त्याच्यावरती तो थोडासा ट्रान्सपरंट वाटू शकतो. वाटताना असं वाटू शकतं की असा पेपर का आहे, पण त्यामागची कारणं आहेत. पुस्तक खूप हलकं होतं त्या ह्यानी, आणि एकतर आमचं कुरिअर्स खूप जास्त जातात. त्यामुळे अर्थातच आपल्याला सगळ्यांना माहिती आहे शिपिंग चार्जेस, कुरिअर चार्जेस हे कधीकधी आमच्या पुस्तकाच्या बिलिंगपेक्षाही जास्त होऊ शकतात. त्यामुळे पुस्तक हलकं करण्यासाठी हा पेपर आहे. दुसरं म्हणजे हा पेपर कालांतराने खराब होत नाही. जसा पांढरा पेपर तुम्ही बघत असाल वर्षभराने त्याच्यावरती कधी थोडे डाग येतात किंवा काहीतरी होतं, तर हा पेपर तसा होत नाही. आणि तिसरं, रिसर्च सांगतो की या स्टाईलच्या पुस्तकांनी डोळ्यांना थकवा येत नाही. त्यामुळे अशा छोट्या छोट्या गोष्टींचा विचार करून हे पुस्तक तयार केलं आहे. आज हे पुस्तक वेबसाईटवरती अवेलेबल आहे, डेक्कन स्टोअर्सला अवेलेबल आहे आणि अर्थातच बाकीच्या बुक सेलर्सकडे पण येणार आहे. मी पुन्हा एकदा अंजलीताईंचे आभार मानते. थँक्यू व्हेरी मच.
Thank you, Mrs. Gauri Zogakar, for being there with us today. She was to travel to the US, but she said, I'll postpone my trip. I'll go on Sunday. So she stayed here and she's come all the way from Pune. So please, a big round of applause for her for this. We also have with us today a very special guest. Someone who's intelligent, creative, sensitive. A rare combination. And also sensible. A very well known figure from the film industry, a film writer, director, producer, actor. who wrote the script of the iconic Tare Zameen Par. It was around 1995-96 that he hosted the show Bindas Bowl, right? And which featured anguishes of the young ones. Children started featuring on his agenda, which resulted in the first draft of The High Jump, which later on became Tare Zameen Par. And I'm sure all of us have watched the film, a very sensitively written script. It featured learning disorders, and that was India's first attempt, first entry into Oscars, official entry into Oscars. His passion for children is unparalleled. Just imagine somebody conducting 4 hours workshops, acting workshops in schools for children on Saturdays and holidays so that kids don't miss their school on a regular basis, which then culminated into a film called Stanley Ka Dabba. And I'm sure all of you have watched that film, which won several awards. It was awarded the best film at the 2011 Giffoni Film Fest Award, Film Fest in Italy, 2011 Special Jury Action Aid Humanitarian Award, and the 2011 Critics Award for the best film at Jagran Film Festival, New Delhi. The lead actor of Stanley, his son Partho, was awarded the best actor at the Schlingel Film Festival, Germany, where 140 films from 40 nations were competing. Since then, he has directed 3 more features. He was also the chairperson of the Children's Film Society of India, mentoring children. He has recently produced First Act, which is a documentary series on the lives of child actors and the pressures and anxieties that they are under for Amazon Prime Video. His filmography includes Tare Zameen Par, Stanley Ka Dabba, Hawa Hawaii, Sniff, Saina. It's a pleasure to invite the one and only one, Amol Gupte, on this stage. Thank you, Amol, for being here today. I just made one phone call requesting him to come, and he said, I'm there. No, celebrities don't behave like this normally. So, a big welcome to you, and over to you.
आता काय थोडं इंग्रजीतच झाडतो, ठीक आहे. कारण सर्वाधिक what stares me in the eye is appear as you are and be as you appear. Page 35. The light within. Many things are very clear when they come from the cadence-ridden mind and thoughts of the great Rumi. These are Rumi's lines, not mine. And they are akin to, there's a cinema guru who was part of the French New Wave, and his name is Robert Bresson, who also alludes to the same idea. I'll bring out the idea now, where he says, in cinema you have to capture the truth. And in that truth, he says, being instead of seeming. To be instead of seeming to be is an option given to every human being. But do human beings exercise that option? They don't. त्रास है, फार मोठा त्रास है. It's posturing, it's pretending, speaking exactly what you think, but you will not bring it to your tongue. This and many such truths are penned so soulfully by dear Dr. Anjali. The light within. This light within is like a rubric. What's a rubric? A certain table to follow. It's the rubric of life. It's the rubric of contentment. It's the rubric which has been generously endowed by people that we love. Swami Ramdas, Samartha. It begins in the early foreword of hers where she says की रामदास स्वामींनी सांगितले रोज लिहिणं आणि वाचन म्हणून तर आपण वी आर क्लासिफाईड ॲज ह्युमन बीइंग्स अदरवाईज पशु पक्ष्यांमध्ये आणि आपल्यामध्ये अंतर काय ती एक पहिली गोष्ट रामदास स्वामींची त्याच्यावर रुमी आले रुमीनंतर गुरुजीएव आले Gurdjieff is a fabulous philosopher and a miracle man of the United States. पण ते कोणाच्या तोंडून बोलतायत? He is speaking through Osho, Bhagwan Rajneesh. When he tells you, Father Gurdjieff telling son Gurdjieff, if you get angry, 24 तास थांबा. Wait for 24 hours, then do the action. It is, I think it's the priceless piece of advice to humanity who are so upfront. And in today's day and age, everything is so volatile and mercurial that one day you hope it all doesn't burst on our face. So Osho, Gurdjieff, Rumi, Ramdas Swami, I mean, what 4 pillars, stambha of this book, which in the times of Learn Easy books, it's been going on from Dale Carnegie's time, but I'm talking about the swish and swash of get rich quick management, this, that, other. Who's going to give you a rubric of life? This book has enacted for me the simplest of simple footsteps that every human being can take in order to gain contentment. Happiness and contentment are two different things. We are galloping after happiness and we are getting sad. अंजलीताई म्हणतात की जसं आपलं घर आपण आवर्जून साफ करतो आणि जे आपल्याला नको असतं ते कसं आपण कॉर्नरमध्ये दडवतो कारण गेस्ट्स आर कमिंग. तो ट्रीट द सेम गेस्ट फिलॉसॉफी फॉर युअर इनर माइंड. दॅट्स द लाईट विदिन. सो वेन यू टेक दॅट ॲज अ फिलॉसॉफी, you will get rid of all your baggages. There is no sharm, lajja, to be naked. Stand naked and look at yourself, which is what Rumi seems to be saying. Be what you appear. Being instead of seeming. There are so many lessons to learn that it would take some time out of the most respected person in my life, Dr. Rajendra Badwe. And I don't want to eat on his time because he's traveled far and from beyond to come here and grace the occasion. He is like Dr. Manoj Bhatawdekar, who I grew up with. My Bhimanagar friends are here. Everybody is together on this lovely occasion. But what Dr. Manoj Bhatawdekar does and what Anjali does, Doctor, for children, for the minds. Dr. Badwe is blessed with divinity, and I can vouch for it. I am a small volunteer at Tata Cancer for the last 18 years, and the width of his heart is larger than, in my cinematic language, cinema scope. It spills over the cinema scope. So without much ado and taking more of your time, मी तुमची रजा घेतो, कारण हे जे आहे ना, हे it's like the pocketbook of life, and it is so lucid and so soulfully written that I am overwhelmed that I have been included to sit here and not there with my Bhimanagar friends, and that's a big one for me. Dr. Badwe, thank you so much to give your presence next to my seat. I don't know how overwhelmed I am. And Dr. Anjali, God bless you. You've given me the answer. Thank you.
Amol, no words to thank you. Now I have the pleasant task of introducing Dr. Anjali Bhatawdekar to you. And mind you, this is the first time in my life I am formally introducing her to somebody. We're slowly coming to the book launch. Before that, Anjali would share her own views. She'll narrate her own journey about the book. You know, introducing her gives me a very strange but endearing kind of feeling. Her meritorious career began in Parle Tilak Vidyalaya in 1977, where she stood in the merit list in the 10th standard. She did her MD Pediatrics from St. GS Medical College, KM Hospital. She's been a consultant pediatrician, having an experiences of more than 35 years of consulting practice. She's a retired honorary professor of pediatrics from Cooper Hospital. She works as an honorary pediatrician at the Juvenile Diabetes Foundation. She's also an honorary pediatrician at the L&T Health Center. She is the first Indian pediatrician to research oral polio vaccine in the newborn under the guidance of Dr. N.B. Kumta, and she was awarded the Shirin Mehtaji Medal for this research. She was the president of the Child and Parents Guidance Center at Lokmanya Seva Sangh for 5 years. She has conducted several programs on parenting at a pre-primary school in Vileparle for several years. She wrote a column in the Afternoon Delhi Mahanagar for 5 years, which finally culminated into a book called Sangopan in Marathi. She's been a popular teacher among students, a dedicated daughter-in-law, a caring mother, someone who's loved and admired by her family, both mother's side and in-laws. She's been a voracious reader herself. And you can make out from the book the various quotes of masters that she has been writing about. She's been a thorough spiritual practitioner for several years. First, an Osho sannyasin, and then an advanced member of a Japanese spiritual organization which she is actively working for. She's a mandala artist. I'm sure she will talk about the mandala drawings that she's been making. All this background has nurtured her spiritually, psychologically and physically. To me as a husband, in Kavi Kalidasa's words, Gruhini Sachivaha Sakhi Mithaha Priyashishya Lalite Kalavidhau. In one sentence, she fulfills all the lacunae in my life and makes my life complete. Over to Dr. Anjali Bhatawdekar.
Good evening, friends. Everybody can hear me well at the back also? First of all, let me thank all of you for coming here in such a large number to encourage me and to appreciate my work, and which includes my teachers from school and from medical colleges, my students, friends, family. Thank you so much. Esteemed guests on the stage and all my friends. I'm really overwhelmed, and maybe I won't be able to speak what I had planned to. So please forgive me for that. But just as I'm thanking all of you, I would like to thank this SV Phatak library. I have been a life member of it for many, many years now, right from my school days. And as Manoj said, I have been a voracious reader, and that reading has gone into my writing, obviously. If I had not read, I wouldn't have been able to write so much. So I have to thank this library and this institution for the opportunities that it gave me. Special thanks to Gauri and the Book Ganga team. And I have not only found wonderful publishers, but I have also found a very good friend through my talks with Gauri, and I am sure we will nurture our friendship. And as Manoj already mentioned, that Satyajit has created the beautiful cover for this book, and which was his own creativity. Of course, he took one of my mandalas to create the cover, but it was totally different from what I had in mind, and I have just loved it. So, coming to the book itself. Whenever an author writes a book, the author is asked, why did you write this book? For me, the writing did not start with a book as an end. It just happened. I think this book has been a journey, and it is not just a journey of the writing itself, but it also depicts parts from my life which I have been sharing with people. But let me begin at the beginning of my writing. So actually all of us remember the lockdown 2020, when the lockdown was declared, and a couple of months before that we started getting news about the COVID and how bad it is, and getting all sorts of posts which are scary on the social media. Some of them were based on truth, some were fictitious. But what I found is these posts were creating a lot of anxiety, stress, to even panic situations in some people. And I, who have been meditating for quite some time now, had to really make efforts through meditation, through spiritual practices, to stay in balance and not get swayed by the posts which were being bombarded on the social media. So when the lockdown actually began, the initial lockdown was announced for 21 days, and then I thought, why not do my job as a person who can spread positivity around me, amongst my friends, my family, which can help them stay positive, stay cheerful during these difficult days. And so I thought of taking up this challenge of drawing a mandala every day and writing a post. And I thought of starting with alphabetical mandalas. Before I go ahead, let me talk a little bit about mandalas. Mandalas are basically circular or discoid drawings which are used very often in spiritual practices in Hinduism, Buddhism, Jainism. I'm not going to talk too much on mandalas here, but just giving you a gist of it is the center of the mandala is supposed to indicate a palatial entity, and the circles which surround the mandala, we are supposed to traverse those circles before we enter that palace at the center of the mandala. When I thought of drawing alphabetical mandalas, I think somewhere subconsciously I had this thought in my mind that all of us have to reach that word which is at the center of the mandala. So I started with alphabetical mandalas, A for acceptance, B for blessing, C for cheerfulness, etc. And I went on for all the 26 alphabets. And along with it, I started writing a short post to boost up the positivity around me, to talk about good things which are happening and not just stress on the negativity happening around us. And as we all know, the lockdown went on and on. It did not stop at 21 days, nor did it stop at 100 days, but I continued my mandala drawings and my writing continuously for a total period of 100 days. That was my first tryst with mandalas and write-ups. At the end of it, I thought of taking a break. And during that time, there were so many people who gave me a positive feedback, who encouraged me, who motivated me. There were so many of them who told me that my write-up was the first thing that they opened in the morning so that they could stay positive in the difficult times. Many of them forwarded my posts to their friends and families and other groups. Some of them asked me to add their friends to my broadcast list. There were days when somebody would tell me that on that particular day, this is exactly what I needed to hear. I know that I cannot take credit for this. Existence had a hand in this. But nevertheless, I felt very happy that I could be of help to someone. And this did not happen just once or twice. There were many occasions when people told me, yes, this is what I wanted to hear today. What you have told me has helped me. And I would say that it helped not only my readers but also myself. And I think I have learnt a lot through my writings, through my reading, through my introspection, through my reflections. I have learnt a lot more than my readers. And I thank all my readers for giving me this opportunity to keep on writing, motivating me to write, appreciating my writing so that I could continue this journey. I would especially like to thank Dr. Yatin Dholakia here. I'm not sure if he's here, but he was the one who created the first PDF of my first, yes, thank you so much. He is the one who created the first PDF of my first 100 days of writing. And that is when I really thought, yes, maybe it could be converted into a book. But nothing happened at that time. And then slowly my writing frequency was reduced. I'm very sorry, I've just recovered from a bad viral. Please excuse me. So my frequency reduced, and then I was writing intermittently. But I felt that I was missing something. There was something kept gnawing at the back of my head that no, I'm not doing what I'm supposed to do. And then towards the end of 2022, I just thought to myself that let me take up a challenge of drawing a mandala every day and writing a post every day for 365 days for the entire year. At that time, I was not sure how I'm going to complete this task, but I just jumped into it. Obviously, I didn't tell anybody that I'm planning such a thing. But my son was the first one to, guess that I'm trying something of this kind. And I could complete the challenge the whole of 2023. Initially, I had thought that it would be very difficult to find a subject to write on every single day. But as I kept writing, I realized that I am looking at the world with new eyes. Every day I am trying to find something that I can write on, something that is interesting me, something that amuses me, and something which I remember from my reading all these years, and which I can connect with what is happening in the world just now. And I could correlate these things and write a blog every day. And once again, people appreciated these blogs a lot. And that's when I seriously started thinking that yes, this could be converted into a book form. I must thank Dr. Shirish Bhatkhande. I am not sure whether he is here. Yes, thank you so much. He is the one who has been asking me to publish this in a book form many times. I mean, many people have been doing that, but he's the one who put me in touch with Mandar Zogdekar. He sent me his number. When I got the number, I was not really sure, that Bookganga is such a prestigious publication and I am an unknown author. I mean, why would they think of publishing my work? So I think I kept that number aside for 15 days and then I said, okay, why not try? Like my son says, पूछने में क्या जाता है? So, okay, let me ask him. And luckily that time he was in India at that time. I called him. He said, okay, send me your PDF. I sent it immediately. Within a few minutes, I got a message back that your writing is interesting and we will talk about this. I met both Mandar and Gauri for one of their publications in this same hall. I think it was in March. And then things started happening. We had a lot of discussions right from the change of the name of the book. And I am very happy to say that the Bookganga team is the one who has suggested the name, but I just loved that name. And I felt that it was apt for my writing. We had a lot of talk, we changed the format of the book and so many things happened, but I know that this particular format which is in front of you in a book form is in a much better form than what I had conceived earlier, and I must thank Bookganga for their efforts, their team. And I know only Mandar and Gauri and Sheetal, but I'm sure all their team has been working for this, and I thank all of them. So, when I'm placing this book in front of you, I know that I have learned much more than my readers from this book. Because this has given me an opportunity to introspect, to reflect, whenever I was writing about anger or judgmental attitude, that was the time when I would exactly know this is where I am going wrong and this is where I need to work on. This is where, but at least I was becoming aware of where I am going wrong. And that has been a great help for me, and I would not really say that I am a better person through this, but I am trying my best. My family and close friends would be able to tell you all better, but I am trying my best. And another thing is, did this journey really begin at lockdown? Yes, the actual writing of the book started during lockdown. But I feel that this journey began much, much earlier. It started right from the time I started reading books, from the time I started meditating, from the time I went through life's various challenges. The first one was 30 years ago when Manoj was diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis, which was a very painful period for all of us, not just him. And then 11 years ago when I went through my cancer journey, and I must thank Dr. Badwe. He was the surgeon who operated upon me, and after 11 years, here I am able to publish a book. So what I believe is that everything that I have done in my life so far has brought me to this point in my journey. This book is not the end of it. I don't know whether I am going to publish any more books, but my journey, my quest for reaching higher spiritual growth, it does not end here. And I know that through this book, I have come a little closer to the light that shines within all of us. And I hope that this book can give you some glimpses of this light so that you can also start on a spiritual path. Thank you so much.
And now the moment which has been long awaited, the actual launch of the book. I request the dignitaries on the stage to officially launch the book, The Light Within, by Dr. Anjali Bhatawdekar, by the prestigious Bugganga Publications, well, this book, the title says The Light Within. Gautam Buddha has said, Appo Deepo Bhava, become your own light. So the light that this book shows us may not be a dazzling bright light. Maybe you're walking in a dark tunnel with a lantern in your hand, and the light shows you the path just maybe 2 feet ahead of you, but that is enough for you to walk on the path with confidence. That is what this light is all about. The most important point is we need to understand the source, and she has acknowledged this time and again. The source of the light is not herself. The source is higher, and we need to acknowledge the presence of something that is higher than us, which is actually the source of light. We are just a vehicle. I would like to read a passage from the book, and I have chosen this because I love this chapter very much. She spoke about her cancer journey, and I have been the closest witness to her journey with cancer. And let me tell you, there's a popular phrase, fighting with cancer, you fight the disease. She did not fight the disease. She just accepted it as part of her life, moved on, and here she is. I can see so many people in the audience who have helped us during that phase, and I am very grateful to them. So this is a chapter from the book, page 63, Receiving Help Gracefully. And I read, a few years ago, I was reading the autobiography of Elizabeth Kubler-Ross, who was a thanatologist. Thanatology is the scientific study of death and the practices associated with it, including the study of the needs of the terminally ill and their families. It was interesting to read about the life journey of Dr. Elizabeth from being a psychiatrist to being interested in death and near-death experiences, and also in past lives. She conducted several scientific studies on near-death experiences and past lives. But one story which I found very interesting and which made a strong impression on me was about her mother. The story goes like this. Elizabeth Kubler-Ross's mother was a wonderful woman who loved to help others. She was forever helping people, giving them whatever she could, but she never liked to be helped herself. In fact, she refused help of any sort from anyone. Towards the end of her life, Elizabeth's mother suffered a stroke and was bedridden for a couple of years. It was very difficult and painful for Elizabeth to watch her mother in this state. She was also angry that her mother, who had been so good and helpful in her life, had to undergo such suffering and be dependent on others in her last months. Elizabeth used to practice meditation and could get in touch with spiritual masters during her meditation. In one such session, she was extremely disturbed by the condition of her mother and felt that her mother, who had accumulated so many meritorious deeds, had to suffer so much was a gross injustice. At this time, she received a message from the spiritual master. She was told that though her mother helped people a lot, she never accepted any help from others. It was emphasized by the master that just as it is important to give, it is also very important to receive help gracefully. Elizabeth was told, your mother had not learned the art of receiving gracefully, and that is why she had to undergo this experience of being bedridden and cared for by others so that she could learn this art of receiving. This story made a strong impact on me, and I realized the importance of receiving help from others. Many times when we are in difficulty, many of us refuse help from others, feeling that it would be a burden for others to help us, and also because we feel that we don't want to be obliged to someone for their help. But if all of us refuse help from others, no one will ever be able to help anyone. Buddha says, if you knew what I know about the power of giving, you would not waste a single opportunity to give. Of course, this is absolutely true. But how can we give if everyone refuses help? That is why it's important to develop an attitude of not just giving, but also of receiving help gracefully when you need it. I have been so impressed by this story that I have used it many times to make someone understand the importance of receiving help gracefully. I would like to share a few of my experiences regarding the same. My son's friend recently was in need of financial assistance after his mother's death, but he was hesitant to accept help from his well-wishers. He expressed to me his unwillingness to accept this financial help, which he actually sorely needed at that time, because he looked upon it as an obligation and a burden. I explained to him that it is okay to accept help when you need it, and there is no need to give it back to the same person, but you can continue the tradition of giving by helping somebody else in need in future. He was satisfied with this explanation and could accept the help gracefully. I myself felt more comfortable asking for help during difficulties after reading the story of Elizabeth's mother. Of course, just as I ask for help and accept it gracefully and gratefully, I don't hold it against the person if he cannot help me at a particular time. And obviously it follows that when someone asks me for help, I try my best to do so whenever possible. But the most memorable incident regarding this story happened when I visited my elderly teacher, a pediatrician in her 70s. She was suffering from a major health problem and was bedridden for the last few months of her life. When I came to know about her health issues, I called her up and asked her if it was okay for me to visit her. She was very happy and welcomed me with love. As we sat together talking about this and that, she opened her heart to me. She confessed that she felt very guilty that her family members had to take so many efforts to help her. Though they had employed a lady who looked after her during the day, the family was completely involved in ensuring her comfort. I listened to my teacher talk and allowed her to ventilate her feelings. I had known her for many years and knew that she had worked very hard to take care of her family, and she was a very loving person, ready to help anyone and everyone in need. At this point, I thought it would be apt if I narrated Elizabeth's mother's story to my teacher. So I told her this story, and she listened to it with rapt attention. We did not talk much over the subject later, but diverted to other subjects. A little later, I took her leave with a promise to visit again. I was not very sure about the impact of telling her this story, but a few days later, I was pleasantly surprised when she called me up. She thanked me for her visit and thanked me especially for telling her the story. And then she told me that after hearing the story, the guilt which had been troubling her a lot had disappeared. She could let go of the guilt and decided to accept the loving help gracefully and gratefully. I was touched that just recounting a story had helped a beautiful soul get rid of the negative emotions of guilt. My teacher died in the next few weeks. I could not meet her again, but I felt satisfied that I could be of service to her in her last days. I remember she once received an audio message from one of her readers which said that a similar message from her in one of the posts helped one of her friends to talk to her mother who was in coma, terminally ill, on her deathbed, and because he could relate with these posts about helping a dying person, he could talk with his dying mother. She opened her eyes and then she closed them, and then she had a peaceful death. And this person, he reported that he felt the closure was complete. So we don't know the impact of what we are actually doing when we are doing it. And now we have with us today an eminent cancer surgeon who operated on her, as she said, in 2014 with skilled hands and an empathetic heart. Dr. Rajendra Badwe, currently Honorary Professor Emeritus and former Director of Tata Memorial Hospital, who has more than 35 years of diverse experience as a surgical oncologist, and as a director has led Tata Memorial Center, a world-renowned institution in the field of cancer care. He is an international opinion leader in oncology, developing breast cancer care strategies. He has been a mentor in developing the cancer care strategy for the Government of India and the World Health Organization. He was instrumental in creating 10 cancer centers across India to demonstrate efficacy of hub and spoke model. He spearheaded the National Cancer Grid program to bring over 300 centers in India under one umbrella with a single goal of uniform care, appropriate education and research. His pioneering research has been importance of events at the time of surgery and the effect of act of observation on the observed in cancer biology. He has more than 200 publications to his credit in scientific journals. He is nationally and internationally renowned, has won several awards in recognition of his stellar contributions to cancer care. Padma Shri, as we are all aware of. Then the Lal Bahadur Shastri National Award for Excellence in Public Administration, Academics and Management. His international recognition includes many other prestigious awards. An astute clinician, a skilled surgeon, and an erudite speaker, Dr. Rajendra Badwe. Sir, over to you.
Thank you, Dr. Bhatawdekar. When I looked at the book, and I confess that I have not read it fully, but whatever I gleaned, I find that this is a book that should be kept open on a pedestal like that in every home, and every day you can open one page and read it. Somewhere down the line, you will find that you're reading the same page again sometimes, and you will still learn and glean something different out of it. And if I were to use Shams Tabrizi's words, it is never in the text, it is never in the idea behind. It is the individual who has written all those texts where lies the wealth of thoughts. What I had liked about the book is the simplicity of its presentation. The words are simple that even a child can understand it. The most profound philosophy is put in very simple words. And the only other book that can have this such simplicity is Naneshwari. The only other book that I open and keep it open at my home to read on everyday basis is Gita. So that's where the comparison is. But when I say that a child can also understand, when you read it, you actually become a child. You have the efficacy to deal with children extremely well, which you have put in very well in this book. Now, to be rejuvenated like this, very few books can do that for you. The second component which I felt is of quite great importance, which was appealing to me after being felt childlike, is that I have this terrible habit that every experience that I go through, I try and glean some principle out of that experience and test that principle in other situations, test that principle in other times. So if that principle can transcend the situation, if it can transcend time, then that is a kind of principle that goes beyond what is being taught in books. And there are very few principles like this that we get into, but Anjali has brought that into this book, drawing from Rumi to Osho and all the kinds of philosophical texts which are beyond the reach of an individual. This habit of drawing something or distilling something into principles, and a lot of it is there in this book too, has made me get down to some very simple principles, just 3 of them. I will elaborate those and I will end my talk. The first one, that majority of our problems arise because of our interaction with our environment. So what is this interaction? This interaction is either giving or taking. And majority of the times, this process of either giving or taking, if it doesn't reach our expectation, there is misery. So one simple principle while we give, which is elaborated in Bible, do unto others what you wish done to you. तुम्हाला काहीतरी द्यायचंय, तुम्ही घ्याल का हे? Will you take it if it is given to you? If you can, then give it with ease. If you can't, don't give it. So if this principle, this is for anything, any action that you're doing, being judgmental, being angry, whatever, can you take that yourself? If you can't, forget about it. Don't give it at all. The second part comes while taking. While taking, one principle that has stood in good stead all throughout is take in moderation. If there is a disease that strikes you, say breast cancer, the immediate question is, why me? What have I done? Or something that doesn't appeal to you and that happens to you, what have I done that I should suffer this? And my question to that is very, very simple. There are multitudes of times when you receive a lot more than what you have expected. Did you ask this question then? Did you ask why? Why it is more? No. We always feel that if it is more, I deserve it. It is my actions. I had planned it. I got lot more. And it is because of me. So all debit to the Almighty and all credit to me. That doesn't serve well in long run. And the last one, principle that I feel, which was alluded to by Dr. Bhatawdekar in what he read about death. And death, in my opinion, is a goal. And why do I say that? Suppose if you are running a race, when do you stop? When you reach the goal. When you have reached the finish line. That's the time when you stop. Every living individual stops the life at death. So can you use the same principle and say that death is a goal? And I am reminded of this when my grandmother tried to explain to me when I was in 9th standard. Obviously I didn't understand the depth of what it is. And the book is exactly like this. That while you read, you feel that there is a lot more to there, but to understand the full depth, a repeat reading is necessary. So I was in 9th standard and I lost my uncle. And people had gone to say the last words and other things. But I was with my grandmother at home. And my grandmother asked me, uncle has died. What do you understand when you got to know that uncle has died? And I was wondering, what is this question? And I told that I will not see him. So she asked me, will you remember what all things he has done? That he used to carry you to Chinspokli Bridge to show the trains. He used to do many other things that you liked as a child. I said, those are there in my memory and they will remain with me for life. So what has happened? That his physical presence has gone, but his actions remain with you. And to that, years down the line, I came across another event from where I gleaned the principle, and I felt that that was the principle my grandmother was trying to tell me. There was this gentleman who runs Shankar Netralaya. He, in post, got a check of 1 crore. And the address was given that please send a receipt. He reached that individual and asked your donation, and this was way back. I'm talking about somewhere in mid-80s. Now to get a crore rupee donation by a check, and the gentleman is asking only I need a receipt, obviously means something. So he reached this person and he said, we would like to put up a plaque in your name. When is it convenient for you to come to Shankar Netralaya? And he got a reply saying that I need my check back. if you want to put my name there. This is check. That means it's white money. There is nothing hanky-panky about it. But the gentleman said that if you want to put a plaque, please send the check back to me. I'm expecting only a receipt for that 1 crore. It suddenly struck me. What has this gentleman done? We get so many donors who claim that put some plaque here, put some floor, let the building be named after me, let the bed be named after me. There are so many components there for which we try and make people ajramar. But what this gentleman had done is that he had dissociated himself from the action that was happening. His physical attachment to the action was not there. He was practicing death. That physically he is alienated, what Gita says, karmanye vadikaraste namafaleshu kadachana, but that was done essentially for something which was greatly done. That was Nani Palkhiwala. So, that's the third principle that I felt needed to be practiced day in and day out. Tulsidas has written exactly similar, that while giving things to others, he would always bend down very humbly. And then the people who were receiving it would say, why are you so humble? You're giving something and it is official that you're giving something. Why should you be so much of humility while giving it? So then he had said that denahar koi aur hai, bhejat hai din rain, jo jo kar upar karu, tyon tyon nicho nain. It is, lot of this component is evident in this book, and I wouldn't talk about cancer at all here. I'm here only to talk about what the philosophy is. So I would urge that every individual should have this book. I am going to have it. I have one, and it will remain open on my bookshelf to read one page every day for life. Thank you very much.
Dr. Anjali Bhatawdekar would now like to present her mandala drawings to our guests. To Dr. Rajendra Badwe, to Amol Gupte, to SV Phatak Library, Lokmanya Seva Sangh, and to Gauri Zoglekar from Bugganga Publications. Well, all good things have to come to an end. So we are coming to the end of this program. I'm sure people would want to procure at least 2 copies of the book, one for keeping for themselves and one for gifting to others. I have no words to thank our esteemed guests, Dr. Rajendra Badwe and Amol Gupte, for sharing their pearls of wisdom with us. I sincerely thank the Lokmanya Seva Sangh and SV Phatak Library for co-arranging the function. Both myself and Anjali have been associated with this institute. In fact, I did my kindergarten in this very building. Then I was associated with this institute as a parent and at the Parents and Child Guidance Center. I've done several programs from this platform, and it has been a great blessing to be associated with this institute. I remember Pula Deshpande used to say कि ही पितृतुल्य संस्था है. This is like a fatherly institute. So thank you Lokmanya Seva Sangh and library. Our sincere thanks to Book Ganga for helping. You know, the kind of effort that they have put in is amazing. They have paid attention to the finest details. Every comma, every full stop. They have attended to each detail minutely. They have accepted suggestions, they have given suggestions, and it has been a beautiful process of give and take. Thank you, Book Ganga. And finally, all of you who have made it, people from the USA are here. People from Pune have come. People have come all the way from Pune, Nashik. Our senior professor, Dr. Ambedkar, who's been a senior professor in pediatrics, he is here to grace the occasion. Sir, your presence just illuminates this place. There are several other senior doctors from different fields, different specialties who are here. Our dear friends from school have been here. Our psychiatry professors have been here. Our professors of medicine have been here. Colleagues have been here. Friends, relatives, neighbors. I cannot thank you enough, and all of those who have encouraged her to write this book, and finally the book is out. Gratitude is a core of this book, and I have, as I said, I have seen her go through the cancer journey. The only positive emotion that she held on to during her treatment was gratitude. And scientific research has shown that if you put gratitude on one hand and all the negative emotions on the other, gratitude has an immense power to neutralize all the negative emotions. And gratitude is a door to happiness. So let's all be grateful that the book has been published. The book is with us to stay now, and hoping that many more books get published, and an appeal to Book Ganga. So, because I know she is going to continue writing. So, thanks to all of you, and over to Lokmanya Seva Sangh.
Namaskar. I am supposed to be here to present my concluding remark, but no, we prefer to remain a footnote. When I say we, I mean the members of the library committee and the new library committee in this sense. In the sense, it has been reconstituted. Some of us have continued from the earlier committee, and some new members have been inducted. And what better way to begin our new term rather than adding a valuable gift to our library, and in presence of such personalities, the author Dr. Anjali Bhatawdekar, the eminent stage and screen personality Amol Gupte, and of course a very big name in medical fraternity in India and abroad, Dr. Badve, and of course all of you who came here in great numbers. Thank you so much.
All are requested to stand up for the national anthem. जन गण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता, पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल उत्कलवङ्ग विन्ध्य हिमाचल यमुना गङ्गा उच्छल जलधितरङ्ग तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मागे गाहे तव जय गाथा जनगण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे भारत माता की जय. Thank you very much.